Tweet. Only in 2020 does hashtag Lady G get to push a bunch of debunked conspiracy theories while questioning Sally Q. Yates, a.k.a. an American hero, also the former deputy director of the FBI. But the tweet was posted back in August of 2020 before she was hired as President Biden's press secretary. Rick Grinnell, the former acting director of national intelligence, who was the first openly gay White House cabinet member ever to serve in his post, tweeted this out. In his disappointment, quote, homophobia and intolerance from the left is growing. This should be widely condemned, press secretary. Joining us now to talk more about this is Marysville, Ohio City Council member Erin Carpenter, the youngest elected official in the history of Marysville. Also back with us, GOP strategist and attorney Amanda Maki and executive director of USA Strong, Erin Elmore. All right, everyone. So Jen Psaki not having a great week. Erin, who's having a worse week? The hedge fund bros or Jen Psaki?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to have to go with Psaki on this one, though.
Now, obviously, some hypocrisy to talk about here. Also, I mean, I think it's important to remember that with Pete Buttigieg being confirmed, that the left loves to play up this fact that he is the first, Senate-confirmed member of the cabinet. But, Erin, we can also just think back, it wasn't that long ago when President Obama, he was not for gay marriage when he was elected. So quite an evolution here on this whole thing.
Oh, shocking. There's hypocrisy from the left. And we have Joe Biden, our now president, on tape saying that he wasn't for gay marriage. But I also, John, for you, have some breaking news. Jen Psaki does not have a degree in journalism. That's shocking. She has a degree from William & Mary in English and sociology. I worked my tail off and graduated cum laude undergrad with a degree in journalism because I realized if I wanted to have a career in this world, I needed to be properly trained and know how to take questions and be a real journalist. You can tell that she is not properly trained to do this job and she's over her skis. Right. To make remarks like this that are homophobic are terrible, but she's made other remarks, whether it's her incessant circling back, not one time, 2 times, over 10 times, but also mocking members of our military and Space Force. She's shameful, and I'm sorry for everyone that went to journalism school and we studied and worked our backsides off that we're stuck with someone like her. She doesn't do a very good job, and she really needs to shape up or ship out.
Well, I will say this, having gone to journalism school, you do learn some important lessons there. But, I think the most important lessons, Amanda, are learned out, on the street and communicating with real people and what might be acceptable and what's not acceptable. And for Jen Psaki, I think, to Erin's point, she doesn't have the journalism bona fides, obviously, but she should know better than this, considering she's been in a position like this before, having been a spokesperson for the State Department. Open, even if teachers don't have the vaccines yet. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky had this to say about vaccinating teachers.
Safe reopening of schools.
I think I too saw there is a lawmaker in Virginia, I believe, working on something to try and force schools to reopen there, but also in California, where they obviously support the teachers' unions. They're talking about passing a law which would require businesses to pay frontline workers an extra $5 an hour in risk pay. I mean, they haven't allowed the businesses to open up, and as soon as they start talking about it, they want to hit them with more taxes.
This is truly sad. We're not talking about a large-scale construction project here for a union. We are talking about our children here that need to be educated. Some of these children that go to these public schools are living in inner cities without parents in the home, without proper meals, schools where they eat, where they socialize, where they are loved. This is so traumatic for so many children. Moreover, we know that private schools have been open for almost a whole school year. They can do it. We know that this is feasible, and the rates amongst children are very low. We know that these schools and these unions aren't really concerned about their children. They're concerned about indolence, their laziness. They want to stay out of the schools. They're using safety in the coronavirus as a ruse, and it's truly sad for the children in America.
Yeah, they were on strike in Chicago, at least in 2019, and they're trying to get some of the same things they couldn't get done in that last deal pushed through now. Councilman Erin Carpenter, Amanda Maki, and Erin Elmore, we're going to bring you guys back in the next hour to discuss Liz Cheney and her battle to stay in leadership in the Republican Party. Member Erin Carpenter, also back with us, GOP strategist and attorney Amanda Maki, and Erin Elmore, executive director of USA Strong. All right, Councilman, we'll start with you on this one. What did you make of Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments?
So first, I just have to state that the Republican Party is extremely out of touch with its constituents and the country. The fact that Liz Cheney is in the news for receiving support from, the majority of Congress, and the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene is being basically crucified and stripped of her power for putting America first and for not backing down to the mob
One of the things, too, that I think a lot of people thought was a little swampy about this was the fact, at least pertaining to Liz Cheney, was that it was a secret ballot. And, you know, the vote was 145 to 61. Do you think if the ballot was actually, you know, people had to sign their names to their votes, it would have been different?
I do. And I think what Democrats and Republicans both need to acknowledge that there was a populist movement that Donald Trump created, and you cannot stop progress. Maybe for a little while, they just think that they can go back to business as usual with a uniparty where everyone's making money off the American people, and that this populist movement, that these outsiders, the people that want to drain the swamp, that were a breath of fresh air in the broken system, will go away. Thank God we have people like Josh Hawley and Matt Gaetz and Marjorie and a few others like Tom Cotton who are really advocates for change. But Washington is completely broken, and these populists were what wanted to see it fixed. And now we just, if things don't go well for Marjorie Taylor Greene today, I think that's a very bad look for the Republicans, because this progress has to move forward. If you want to get the vote of the American people that are fighting our wars and paying our taxes, you need to care about the populist. Mm-hmm. And right now, although Donald Trump is gone, he will not be forgotten. And there are a large contingency that want to see people like him in Washington changing it, who care more about the voters than raising money and themselves.
You know, Councilman, too, I think one of the interesting things about this, and Logan Raddick reported on this, these things, you got to wait for the time things to settle down a little bit. Great to see you all. Thanks so much for being with us. Amanda Maki, Councilman Aaron Carpenter from Marysville, Ohio, and Erin Elmore. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon. All right, coming up, the Roman Catholic